you.
What a wonderful film to see on the big screen, huh? What a treat we have this afternoon. Thank you so much, Cary, for being with us this afternoon.
My pleasure.
And I'm going to get to your questions almost right away because I know you have a ton. You guys are diehard, like myself, diehard fans of this. So it's 1986. You just finished Lady Jane.
Correct.
And director Rob Reiner calls you.
Right.
Can you tell us how you got involved
Sure.
in the project?
First of all, thank you for that very warm welcome. And
Yeah.
thank you. And I want to thank the festival for having me. I really appreciate it, and it's great to be here. It's a wonderful journey. My life. I always say to my wife, my life is totally blessed. I was in Berlin filming a movie about Vladimir Nabokov, and I got a call from my agent saying, Rob Reiner would like to talk to you about doing this movie called The Princess Bride. Now, I knew about the book. I'd read the book by Bill Goldman. I'm a big Bill Goldman fan. And so I thought, wow, that would be amazing to work with my hero. And I knew Rob Reiner's work, of course. Spinal Tap at that point had already, become an instant classic. And I thought, great, well, I'll take the meeting, but I'm filming. How am I going to do that? So she said, don't worry, he's flying out to Berlin to see you. He'll be there tomorrow. And I'm thinking, this is insane. How did this happen? So he flew out with his producing partner, Andy Scheinman. And they came to visit me in my hotel. And they sat down and they said, listen, we're going to make this movie. And we've seen Lady Jane, and we think you'd be perfect for it. And are you interested? And I said, please, where do I sign, And it was literally, we made the deal on a handshake right there. And so I thought, I was giddy and light on my feet for the rest of the shoot in Berlin. I was thinking, I can't wait to get back to London to shoot this movie, So it was a real blessing for me.
Oh, wow. The cast, were you told right away who was in the film?
Not right away. When I got to London, I met with Rob again, and we went and had some costume fittings with great Phyllis Dalton, who did all the costumes for this movie. She designed all the costumes for Lawrence of Arabia, if you can believe that. And she had some pictures and stuff on the floor of other actors that she was working with, and I noticed who was in the cast right there. I saw Billy Crystal, I saw Chris Guest. Of course, Billy and Chris, old friends of Rob's, as you may or may not know. And so I already knew it was going to be fun, And then I saw Chris Sarandon's name, and I thought, wow, Chris Sarandon, a Dog Day Afternoon, right? And so I started to see all these names coming together. So I realized, wow, I'm in really good company. I hope I don't screw this up. So, yeah.
The director, of course, Rob Reiner. You've worked with Mel Brooks.
Yes.
You've worked with the great Tony Scott.
Yes, sadly no longer with us, yeah.
Yes. You're with all of your experience, and you have so many productions in post-production right now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Favorite director you've worked with?
Oh, that's hard. I love every director's work. The relationship between an actor and a director is a very special one. You have to be able to put your trust into that person, and they are basically putting their faith in you to carry their film, but you also have to put your faith in them and know that they're going to protect you and make sure you don't come off looking ridiculous, and you look your best, yeah. And so, as I said earlier, I've been very blessed. I've gotten to work with some incredible directors. And I've learned from all of them. It's a learning experience. I'm still learning today. I always say it's like my second education. Like education at school, and then as an actor, I get to go out and I learn how to be a race car driver, an astronaut, or a swashbuckler. So it's an education for me. I get to learn all these different crafts and things that I never would have learned otherwise. So it's a real wonderful journey.
You're in London.
Yes, sir.
Went to acting school, to school for a bit.
Yes.
How young were you when you knew what you wanted to do?
Okay, so I grew up in England, London, and my mother was a single mom and raising 3 boys, and she had a job as a secretary, excuse me, and she was earning about £20 a month to raise the 3 of us. And I don't think she'll mind my saying this now, but back then, she had to lock us in the apartment. I know you could never get away with that today, so social services, don't get excited. She would lock us in the apartment. Oops, excuse me, I think we're getting a little feedback here. Put that down there. She would lock us in the apartment, and she would say, okay, here's the food for you guys to eat, and here are the chores that I would like you to do. Kids, you're getting away with it today, I'm telling you. You're getting away with it. And I'll be back at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock when I get done from work. And when you're done with your chores and everything, you can watch TV, or play. So, TV even then, we only had 2 stations in England. So you had to flip from one channel to the other, like BBC One and BBC Two. That was it. But television became my friend. It was like a world that was opened up to me as a kid. I couldn't believe it, I know you guys as parents, some of you were thinking this, you have the same problem today. How do I drag my kid away from the television or the iPad or whatever? But as a kid, even with black and white television, which is what we had, that opened up a whole world to me. I got to see comedy, I got to see movies, I got to see great TV shows, and so I knew right then, as a kid, that looks like fun. That's something I want to try my hand at. Yeah.
Great, great.
Yeah.
With your permission, I'd like to open up for questions, but before that,
yeah.
I just have to know, are you left-handed or right-handed?
I'm actually both. No, I'm right-handed. Let me take this down a little bit more. But I don't want to burst your eardrums here today. I'm right-handed, so both Mandy and I are right-handed. We both had to learn how to fence with our left, but luckily we had the most incredible trainers. And you saw the sword fight. It's pretty incredible.
And that's you.
That's actually us. I mean, Rob said to us, listen, I don't want to have stand-ins. I want to be able to film you guys doing it. So go learn it and come back and show me what you've got. So the first time we did it, we started to learn it like a ballet. And we had 2 trainers. Like I said, sadly, no longer with us, but they were great. And they would flip us. For instance, one day I'd learn my role, and then the next day I'd learn Mandy's, and then Mandy would learn mine. That way we knew each other's technique, and there was no room for error, yeah? That's how we had no accents on it. And it started out very slow, and they would practice as they say, okay, this, that, right? By the time we got it down to show Rob looked at it, and he said, and it was over in like under a minute. He goes, well, that's great, but it's too short. And so the trainers were scratching their heads, and he said, go back and add some more, So that's when they built this tower that you see, the steps that we go up, and he almost pushes me over the edge, and then the whole flip thing. That was not me, obviously. I could lie to you and tell you that it was. But I do not know how to do a somersault on a swing. No, I don't know how to do it. Anyway, so we added that whole piece, and then we came back and showed him, and he said, that's better, that's longer, and that's what I'm after. So that's how we did it, yeah.
That's great, thanks for sharing that. Questions, yes, sir.
So thanks for coming. I'm sure I speak for everybody in the room when we say that the way that your friends are on TV, I listen to us reciting your lines.
Thank you.
So I wonder if you could tell us, who were your friends on TV? Because my boys and I, every summer, we sit down, we laugh before the joke comes.
Okay.
And all that. So I wonder if
Sure. Okay, for me, it was comedy. That was what I was drawn to as a kid. I was drawn to Peter Sellers, who for me was, and still is to this day, one of the great comedians of all time. And a guy from Monty Python called Michael Palin. Yeah? Michael Palin was then in a show when I was a kid called Do Not Adjust Your Set. You could probably YouTube it today. And it was with Terry Jones, and it was a precursor to Monty Python. And I just thought that, and of course I became a huge Python fan as well. So, and Bill Goldman, here he is writing this piece that has a lot of great comedy and great dialogue and stuff. And so I asked him after, I said, did you ever watch Monty Python? He goes, no, not really, no. But he's got that sensibility, so I was really drawn to that. So yeah, comedy was a big influence on me. I loved swashbuckling movie. I grew up with Robin Hood, and so I think that was one of the things that Rob Reiner connected with me on that level. We talked about Robin Hood a lot, the old Errol Flynn movies. In fact, one of our sword trainers had worked with Errol Flynn. So, I think that was an exciting aspect for all of us, that he trained Errol Flynn and Burt Lancaster. So when we had Rob made sure he had the very best people on the show, as you can, and yes. Yeah, not so much him, but yeah, the other guys, yeah. Thank you.
Questions actually over here.
Hi.
Hang on.
Hi.
We're gonna wait. We're gonna pass around the mic. Thanks for your patience.
Two things. The first, do you have children? And if so, are they
Yes.
trying to follow in your footsteps?
Oh boy, good question. Yes.
And then part B, I'll just throw on, and how much ad-libbing were you allowed to do in the film?
Okay. First question, yes, I have a daughter. She's 5, and she's the greatest thing I'll ever do, ever. And I'm a very blessed man. She has me wrapped around her little finger. But I guess that's normal, right? If you have a daughter or any kid, yeah. And yes, she looks at what Daddy does, and she comes to the set, and so already I'm sweating, because she loves to sing, she loves to dance, she wants to act, and So, but I want to encourage her to follow all of her dreams, and I'm a pro at acting out Barbie with her. I've got all the characters down, and I let her ride me on horseback and pretend she's a cowgirl, and I get for her it's great. She has an actor dad who, when he's not working, it's pure entertainment. So my wife always says, you gotta just slow it down a little. She's starting to expect you to entertain her all the time. But she's such the apple of my eye. I can't help it. I just love playing with her. So anyway, second question, ad-libbing. Yeah, a little bit here and there. I came up with the whole thing of being half dead, when I'm being carried. That wasn't in the script. I did all that, and Rob liked that. And a couple of lines here and there, but not much, because look, it's Bill Goldman. It's not like you want to change Bill Goldman's dialogue. The guy's a genius. I mean, he's, like I said, one of my favorites. I mean, he did Marathon Man, All the President's Men, and Butch Cassidy. This guy's no slouch, So yeah, Billy Crystal was allowed to, because that part really wasn't written. And of course, being a stand-up comedian, I mean, like I said, he's just a hilarious guy, and he had us all in stitches. I mean, I was supposed to play dead in that scene, as you can, and I ruined a ton of takes, because I mean, how do you keep, He's saying crazy things like, "Don't bother me." My son was just, I caught my son with the sheep last night. Things like that. And crazy. And Rob Reiner has a laugh you can hear in Detroit. And so the sound guy had to come up to him and say, "Rob, we're not getting any takes here. You're ruining, between you and Cary and Mandy, and forget it." So Rob actually had to remove himself from the set while we were shooting that, because he couldn't watch it. And they had to basically stay off me for most of his dialogue, because he's hilarious, absolutely hilarious. My pleasure. Thank you.
What here, ma'am?
The physical humor,
Hi.
did you have to do, were you just a natural at it, or was that something you had to work at?
You're very sweet. Thank you. I just thought that might be something fun to play with, and like I said, I grew up watching a lot of comedy and studying it, and it was just a joy to make. This film was a joy to make, and I think it shows on the screen. You know, we all had such a good time doing it. And it was Phil. Oh yeah, no, this is the 25th anniversary this year. There's 25 years. I know. Thank you. 25 years. And I always say it's the gift that keeps on giving. You know, it's a film it's got heart, I think, you know? I think that's why it connects with people. I mean, it's silly, it's funny, it's got heart, it's got a good message. It's a message about true love. That's a great thing. And so it's very special. You know, I still, you know, if I walk into Toys R Us with my daughter, if I walk through the section where there are plastic swords, I get attacked. Kids coming, hey, there he is. You know? But it's wonderful. I still get fan mail from all over the world, from like Korea and Japan, you know, everywhere. It's incredible. It's really incredible. So, yeah.
Cary, thank you so much. I love this film, but more importantly, my wife loves it.
Oh, thank you.
And we own a small business called Florida Dream Homes, and we purchased everyone who works for us a ticket to come here and see it
Oh,
today.
thank you. Thank you.
Someone who works for me is named Olga, and this is
Okay.
her birthday week. And I
Happy
asked her,
birthday.
what did she want for her birthday? And she said, a hug from Cary.
Here, it's on. Where is she?
She's
on,
right
Olga.
here.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Want to get a picture? Let's get a picture. All right, let's hear it for Olga. Happy birthday.
Yeah. I think everyone's going to be jealous of Olga. So I know that for a fact. We have another question in the back there.
Thank you. Obviously, this is a classic movie that's going to stand the test of time. It already has. And it's my son's favorite movie, by the way, of all the movies. Even,
thank you.
Even more than Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but, you know.
I'm sorry.
Even more than, well, you know.
More than
Anyway,
Monty Python.
Oh, thank you. Thank
having done so many different roles after that, including the Saw films and the
Right.
and Psych more recently, this will probably be the role that you'll be most remembered for and,
Sure.
and associated with. How do you feel about that?
Like I said, I'm blessed. If they put on my tombstone "As you wish," I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. You know, it's a blessing. It's an incredible blessing. Like I said, you know, it's a film that has so many quotable lines in it. You know, we didn't really realize it until the read-through when we were all together, all the actors, and we had a read-through in London, and we started listening to it, and we thought, okay, some pretty great lines in this movie. I think they're going to work pretty well. So yeah, you know, I mean, all of the actors who say the lines all get approached to this day. Billy Crystal says, I get the mutton, lettuce, and tomato, and I, of course, get As You Wish, and Mandy says, you kill my father, but I mean, it's endless. It's incredible, you know? So it's like as I say, it's one of those films. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It has great heart to it, and yeah, I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. I never take it for granted.
Best behind the scenes moment.
Best behind the scenes moment. Let's see. The whole movie was a great behind the scenes moment. I mean, we were laughing our way through this whole picture. I mean, look at this cast. You know, Chris Guest. Chris Guest. I'll give you a good one, and then I'll tell you about Andre. Chris Guest's horse shows up, and they didn't let him pick the horse. They just provide horses for you when you shoot a movie, you know. His horse shows up. He gets on it, starts shooting his scene with the horse, whatever, right? Stills photographer comes up and says, can I get a picture with you on the horse? Takes a picture. He says, I'll print them up. I'll show you tomorrow. He says, great. Comes to the set the next day, the stills photographer, he shows these, because before the days of digital, right? Prints up the picture, looks at it. Chris Guest goes, oh my God, check out my horse. And he turns it around. His horse has buck teeth. He said they couldn't have picked a better horse for me. I mean, it was hilarious, just hilarious. We all fell on the floor. Andre, I miss him to this day. The sweetest, sweetest guy. So sweet, adorable. The most gracious, sweet guy ever. And he taught me a lot about life and love and compassion and friendship. And he was just, he made us all laugh. He had that smile that you see in the film where he's smiling, that smile, he had that smile on his face every day, all day. And you can't help but be infected by that. It's infectious. He was just, and he called, I'll never forget, he called Rob Reiner boss. Every day he said, okay, boss. And Rob said, he's calling me boss. I come up to his navel, you know? And so, yeah, no, we just laughed our way through the whole movie. It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious, yeah.
Cary, thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor to get to see the film on the big screen for the first time for me today on the big screen and to be able to hear you.
Thank you.
Obviously, 25 years, this movie has such longevity. We're definitely a very, not rare, but strange breed of fans. What is the strangest thing that a fan has asked of you or asked you to do?
The strangest thing I've seen a fan do, she lifted up her hair and showed me the back of her neck, and she had tattooed "As You Wish" on the back of her neck. And I said to her, I hope your mom's okay with that. And she asked me to sign it and as well. And she said, oh, I'm going to tattoo your name now on there. I said, well, I said, you don't have to do that. Honestly. She sent me a picture, you know, to my publicist a week later, and there it was, my signature on the back of her neck. Like, you know, God bless her. God bless her.
Okay, Cary, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
I've been here with the festival for 11 years, and today I'm a filmmaker, so I kind of want to ask a question as a director stance. Airplane is one of my favorite comedies of all time, so I think we know where I'm going. Jim Abrams is great.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how did you get involved with Hot Shots? Because I think it's one of the most underrated comedies.
Oh, thank you.
You and Charlie Sheen are amazing in that film together. So what happened? Was it more audition, or did he know who he wanted for that role?
He knew who he wanted. He cast us outright, both of us. And Pat Proff wrote the script. Great guy, hilarious guy. Yeah, I mean, I was a huge fan of the Zucker brothers and Jim. So, yeah, it was. They don't make those movies anymore, really. It's sad. I thought they were absolutely hilarious. They were just one of a kind. So, although I did see the Zucker brothers. Did you guys see the Three Stooges that they did? It's really good. They really did a great job with it. Yeah, you can applaud for that. That's good. Even though it's nothing to do with me, but Jim is now retired, sadly, and I always try and press him to do more movies, but he's basically retired now. But we had a blast on that. Great fun. Let's see. We shot that in San Diego, and fabulous cast. I mean, incredible cast. Lloyd Bridges. I mean, Lloyd Bridges, the great Lloyd Bridges, so no longer with us. And he was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And he was in, I think, one of the airplanes, I believe.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And he just kept us in stitches. I mean, absolutely amazing. Great fun, great fun. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Where are you? I can't see.
I'm over here.
Oh, hi. Hey.
Like probably a lot of people here, I grew up on the movie, and it's just been something that's just been a whole part of our lives where it just really stood out for us. And for me, it's my personal favorite, so thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
And I was curious, do you ever still watch it? And if so, are there any scenes that stand out for you that have some sort of emotional connection for you?
I don't really. I don't really watch my movies much. I kind of have a theory. If I'm in it, I don't really need to see it. I will go, for a premiere when the movie's finished, to go and celebrate it and enjoy it with an audience. But pretty much I try not to, because I'm my own worst critic. I only can see my mistakes. Yeah. So, but I watched it again, actually, for the first time in 25 years when we screened it for the New York Film Festival just a few months ago. And I don't know, I think it holds up pretty good, don't you?
It really does. I'm gonna actually turn on the podium mic here, and
Okay.
There's a question. Do you have a question on there too? Okay, yeah. There we go.
Thank you.
Hi.
Cary, we talked briefly
Hey,
earlier.
Yeah,
You remember me?
I do.
Thousands
It was
wouldn't.
only 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, but it wasn't in front of this many people, though.
Okay.
The one question that I wanted to ask you during our brief conversation that I didn't get a chance to is that I think throughout your career you've portrayed, and very diligently and very successfully, hero-type characters.
Right.
But I've been very, very enticed by the roles that you played in stuff like Kiss the Girls,
Right.
where you suddenly spin the pendulum and were very, very menacing.
Right.
And I know that you also, I haven't seen it, but I know that you played a version of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yes. That's not quite a comedy.
No.
It wasn't Jeffrey Dahmer. It was Ted Bundy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Ted Bundy. But I'm curious. I suppose my curious question to you is that how is it being the icon of hundreds of thousands throughout the world? Because my sisters, my brothers loved The Princess Bride in Ireland. We grew up on The Princess Bride. I know they all love it here. I love it myself.
Right.
And it's all that incredible.
Thank you.
But then to see you in movies that are far, far, far darker,
Yeah.
and watching that character become, because you're always a version of yourself, as we all know, but
Right.
Becoming such an evil take on a character is just is that process different for you? That's just a question.
Yeah. Comedy is obviously a lot more fun to make. You get to laugh your way through the role. As I say, we had a great time making it. Playing the darker roles is oftentimes can be a little bit trying because you have to live in a headspace that's not very pleasant. And the research is often not that pleasant either. So, but I treat every role as a challenge, and I love doing the research, even though it takes me to places where I probably wouldn't want to spend a lot of time in, normally. But no, I try to mix it up, Herbert. I try to mix up my role. I try to make it fresh and interesting. I try not to play the same roles too often if I can help it. That makes it more fresh and interesting for me.
Does it ever scare you that you're good at it?
Oh, bless your heart. I'll give you your $20 later. No, seriously, thank you. I don't know. I mean, I can't judge that. It's up to folks who watch it. I just try to do the best I can, and
You really dive deep into a lot of your characters, a lot of research.
Yeah.
Drove a race car.
Yeah.
You're an accomplished
It's fun.
rider.
Look, I think it's true with anything you do in life. You either give it 100% or what's the point, right? There's no point in showing up and doing a half-assed job. You got to really get into it, I try to make the directors feel proud of the fact that they've taken that risk by hiring me, and they're investing in me, And so I feel I owe it to them and to myself and to the audience to do the very best job I can, and that's how I roll.
Can you tell us what's? You have a lot of things in post-production right now, in a sense.
In development.
You have a lot of things in development.
Right.
In 2013, can you share some of that?
I can tell you I'm going back to playing I'm going to bring back Despero for one more time. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Those guys are fun. I have a good time with them. They're great. And they gave me a call, showrunner, and said, we're coming to the end of this show, and we've gotten a lot of mail that they want to bring your character back, and would you consider doing it? I said, please, I'll be happy to. So yeah, I'm going to go back and do that at the end of next month, and that's very exciting. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you for being here. We all admire you very much, and it must be nice to have a role that people adore.
Thank you.
Have you seen House of Cards, and can you talk a little about working with Robin Wright?
Yes.
This was her first major role. You had some love scenes with her, and she's so much different in so many different roles. We want to know a little about her.
Oh, she's an amazing actor, incredible. Let's see. They had real difficulty casting Buttercup. Rob shared with me in Berlin, because I asked him, I said, so who's playing Buttercup? That's my first question. He goes, well, we don't have anyone yet. We're really having a tough time with it. And I've met a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people on tape, and it's such a special role. I really need someone very, very unique. And he said, I've seen a lot of English actresses, and none of them are right. I need someone who's got that sensibility, got that sense of humor, and can be funny, but also be very charming and beautiful. And obviously, he's described in the script as the most beautiful woman in the world. And he said it's been a struggle, Cary. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm glad I got you, but I don't know what I'm going to do about her. And apparently, the casting director had Robin Wright's picture on the wall, and as a template of the kind of look that she was looking for Buttercup. He didn't even think to call her agent or call her up. And I think it was a last-minute exasperation where Rob came into her office and went, well, who's that? She said, oh, well, that's an American girl. She's not English. I know you're looking for something. He said, well, she's perfect. Well, she looks amazing. Well, who is she? She said, well, her name's Robin Wright. She's on this... she was on a daytime soap opera called Santa Barbara, I think. He said, is she available? He said, I'll call her up, we'll see. Turns out she was. Flew her over, they did a test, and Rob said, that was it. I knew within the first moment she opened her mouth, she was it. And that was it. So when he introduced me to her at Shepperton Studios, where we were doing the pre-production, he said, Cary, this is Buttercup, the woman you're going to fall in love with. I mean, she was perfect, absolutely perfect. The first scene we shot together was the fire swamp scene, where I had to carry her, and then she had to get, actually the very first scene she had was to be burned. You know when a dress gets burned, right? And Bill Goldman was on the set, and they built this fabulous swamp on the soundstage at Shepperton. And we had a crew meeting with every time there's fire or weapons or anything on a set, they bring the head stunt guy comes out and he gives a speech. And he makes sure all the crew come together and they say, okay, now guys, there's going to be some danger on the set today. We got the fire team right here. There's going to be a fire here and there's going to be a fire there, and we want everyone to make sure not to stand in the wrong place or no one step on this thing. These are devices. This is how it's going to be. Blah blah blah. Right? Give you a whole speech about it. And Bill Goldman goes, We're going to set fire to Robin Wright on her first day? And Rob goes, yeah, gee, I hadn't thought of that. So they were very nervous. And so we start shooting, and she was fine with it. She was so gung-ho, Robin. That's just how she is. She's great. She's like, yeah, sure, burn me is fine. We start to shoot the scene, and Bill Goldman disappears off the set. We didn't see him again. We thought, oh, he's too nervous. He doesn't want to see it, whatever. And the sound guy is recording, and he has his headphones on, and he's listening to the scene and the dialogue, and he can hear in the background, he can hear, and after Rob yells cut, he rewinds it, and he's listening to it again. He can hear our dialogue in the background, he can still hear. So he says to Rob, he goes, Rob, listen to this. I'm getting some interference. Maybe someone has a radio mic on or something. And Rob listens to it too, and he goes, what the heck is that? And the sound guy goes, I don't know. And Rob says, let me listen to it again. He listens to it, and he goes, That's Bill Goldman's voice. He says, Bill. Sorry about this, Mike. He says, Bill, where are you? And Bill comes out from behind a toadstool.
I'm right over here.
He says, what are you doing? He goes,
I was so nervous about her getting burned. I was saying some prayers.
He goes, Bill, we're rolling. You can't talk during a scene, you know? That ends up being in the film. The poor guy, he'd never been invited to the set before. You'd think, having made all these movies, that he was an old hat. It's the first time he'd ever been to a set and watched a film being shot. And since it was his baby and his favorite movie, he wanted to be there on the first day.
He said, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know.
So that was her first day. And she was, as you see, incredible. And she's wonderful in House of Cards. She's an incredible, I mean, all of her roles. She's really an incredible actor. And I'm thrilled to have worked with her. And we're still great friends, yeah.
All right. Over in the back on the right.
Hello. Welcome to Orlando.
Thank you.
And thanks for this. My question is sort of two parts. Have you had a chance to, it really doesn't have much to do with Princess Bride, have you had a chance to go to our exciting theme parks like Universal Studios, either this trip or prior?
Oh, of course.
Have you thought of maybe, once they get tired of the Harry Potter thing, you know, making a suggestion like they could do a Princess Bride theme? I really...
That's funny.
I feel like the Fire Swamp has a lot of traction.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'd go to that.
You know what? If you start blogging it, it may happen. You may force them to say as you wish. I did go to all these theme parks. I haven't taken my daughter yet, but I'm looking forward to it because she's a big fan of Disneyland and she hasn't seen Disney World. But when I was there, let's see. All right, I'm going to put a question to you. Does anyone in the audience know when Elvis Aloha in Hawaii first aired on television? There's a pop question. Anyone know that? Anyone? No? 71? Did you say 72? 71? 71, around there. 71. 71 was when I was here last time, going to the theme parks. And my mother rented a station wagon and drove us from Fort Lauderdale to Orlando. And we stopped at, let's see, we went to the Kennedy Space Center. Yay! There you go. Great place, yeah? And of course, to all the theme parks. And, you know, this was my first time in America as a kid. We were on holiday, and I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. You know, we don't have any theme parks in England. It rains all day. I mean, you know, you can't open anything there during the day for kids, you know? Swing set, that's a theme park growing up. That was it. So I was blown away. What is this? Disney World, what is that? Universal, my gosh, we couldn't believe it. It was incredible. So it was a bit of a letdown coming back to England after that trip, you know? We kept bothering my mother going, when are we going back to Disney World, you know? So I love it here. I have great fond memories of Orlando. So it's a place very close to my heart, so yeah. Thank you.
My question is actually about the internet. Like when I made the movie and we first saw it, the internet wasn't as popular as it is today. So I was going to say, in a fandom sense, what have you seen different with this film, Princess Bride, as far as once the interaction with fans and life, like receiving like paper mail fan letters as opposed to emails, right. and especially with the 25th anniversary now,
right.
What's the difference do you see in that?
Well, thanks to the internet, you know, fandom has grown. You know, we have some great sites out there that are dedicated to the Princess Bride, and you know, I get involved responding to fans in that sense. So it's a great way to interact with the fans. So yeah, I mean, the internet has obviously opened up this movie in ways that we couldn't have possibly imagined. When the film came out in 1987, we screened it at the Toronto Film Festival. And 20th Century Fox, who was distributing the movie, really didn't know how to market it at all. They were really concerned because they looked at it and they went, well, what is this? Is it a kid's movie? Is it a fantasy? Is it a comedy? What is it? and they didn't know how to market it at all. And the movie really didn't make that much money in the theaters, believe it or not, because that was part of the reason, because the marketing was so complicated. And it really found its feet in a brand new medium called VHS. You know, remember those?
Yeah.
And people started renting it and owning it. I mean, I still have fans to this day sending me copies or coming up to me saying, "Will you sign my VHS, please?" You know, and it's something very personal to them. You know, it's very sweet, it's lovely. So that's really where the movie took off in ancillary, and then subsequently in DVDs, and then now, as you say, on the internet. So it's growing. Like I said, it's the gift that keeps on giving. You know, yeah. Hi.
Time for 2 more questions, please.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi. Okay.
Recently, when the Entertainment Weekly did the 25th anniversary special and got everybody back together, was that the first time that you had seen all of the cast from?
Yeah, quite a lot of them, because a lot of them live in New York. Chris Serrano lives in New York. Billy Crystal lives in New York. Actually, Billy Crystal lives in there. I see a bit of him, because he's still great friends with Rob. They're still best friends. So I see a bit of Billy. Robin lives in New York. I don't see as much of her as I'd like to. Wally Shawn lives in New York. Yeah, it was nice to get to see them all again. Yeah, it was a joy. It's a joy, and we were all scratching our heads, going, "How did this happen? You know, how did we end up in this picture?" You know, it was one of those things. It's just one of those things. It was just like lightning in a bottle. You know. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi. Come back, visit Kennedy Space Center again. I can get you a rocket.
Thank you. Sorry, but that sounded like a rocket taking off right there.
We've got some. I have some rocket scientist connections.
I'm sorry?
I have rocket scientist connections. We've got a few NASA brats back there.
Right on. Thank you.
But I know you've done stage work as well. I was going to ask if you have any stage work you're doing anytime soon, and also if you have a preference, stage or screen.
It's a good question. I think as an actor, this is my belief, that I think that it's important as an actor that you do stage work. All the actors that I admire growing up, I studied in, you asked me earlier, you know, if I went to acting school. I studied in acting school in England, and I also studied in New York. I studied at the Actors Studio and the Lee Strasberg Institute, because I grew up as a kid, as I said, in front of the TV set, so all of my heroes were movie stars, and I obviously love all the greats, especially all the ones that studied at the Actors Studio: Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, De Niro, you know, Robert Duvall, all those guys. So I wanted to go study and follow their footsteps, and they all, you know, those schools really train you for the theater, right? But they also train you for film, but mainly for theater, yeah. And so when I lived in New York, I was hoping to get stage work, but I found myself constantly finding more film work than stage work, so it was very hard for me to get on the stage, and I'm really hoping that I get more stage work, and hopefully not before I'm too old to do it. But I'd love to do more stage work, and I think as an actor, as I say, I think that's a great way for you to grow and explore different things, yeah? Yeah. You're welcome.
We'll do a question down here.
Yeah, I was wondering, is this movie still profitable to you?
I'm not one of the investors, but thank you for asking.
How do you handle your fan base? And you know, you get letters and emails.
Yeah.
Do those get responded to, or
I try to respond to as many. I'm late on a few, but I try to keep up to date as much as possible. And you know, I have help, obviously, but yeah, no, it's a wonderful thing. You know, fans are very, very good fans. They're very, very loyal, very, very special, mean a lot to me. So I'm eternally grateful for that. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
All right.
Well, there you go.
One more. We'll do one more question on there, too. Right here. Sorry. Sorry.
Hi, thank you for joining us
thank you.
today. Mine is actually just a fangirl request. The Princess Bride is my favorite book and favorite movie of all time.
Thank you.
My very sweet boyfriend actually got me a very nice hardcover copy, which I just wanted to know if you would sign it for me.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll do that. We'll take that. We'll come up afterwards.
Okay. Well, here, one more question. He's actually.
Wait. Here you in the back. Do you have any regret stories, whether it was a role that you turned down and later regret?
I don't live in
turned it
regret.
down? Okay, do you have any horror?
Can't live there, right? That's wasted energy. But thank you for asking. Thank you. And thank you for having me, really.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Cary Elwes. So much. That was awesome. I knew it would be.